Okay, it's already 10. Let's start our webinar today. Assalamualaikum, good day and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And as usual, we are excited to have you here. This will be an opportunity for us to learn and grow together. So a very warm welcome for the people who joined us for the first time. Actually, this is a 7th session of our QGIS webinar series. Before we go further, I will introduce myself first. My name is Farida, a GIS training and marketing executive, and will be as your host for today. We also have Ms. Nurul as technical support. Just a few notes before we start. We will appreciate the cooperation from everyone to change their display name and to your real name or first name. So we hope it could be done so we could address to you properly during the Q&A session. Just a very simple steps to follow, as you can see on the slide. A very cute tutorial to rename. You just click on the participant icon and then go to your current registered name, click on the 3 dots next to the mute button, select rename and change, and it's already done. Okay, we also would appreciate if you could put yourself on mute mode during the presentation. Please help to do so. Back to our webinar. So our topic today is related to QGIS screen layouts. Will be presented by our main speaker, Mr. Elias Mokrowi. So let's take a moment for a quick introduction about Mr. Elias. Mr. Elias is a geospatial consultant at GIS Innovations Neighborhood. He has over 27 years experience in GIS consultancy with extensive experience in data manipulation, quality control, data analysis, data integration, ETL, desktop GIS, and GIS customization. He has worked across multiple industries in GIS implementation, and he is certified in various GIS and ETL tools. So to those who are not familiar with ETL acronym, it stands for extract, transform, and load, which are techniques used for high-end data conversion, data migration, and also data integration. So as usual, for today's webinar, we will divide it into 2 sessions. The first 40 minutes is for our speaker to share his topic. And after that, we will conduct Q&A session for the remaining 20 minutes. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box. We will address them during the Q&A. Actually, both Bahasa or English are welcome, so don't be shy if you want to ask anything. We hope you will enjoy the session with us today. And now, without further ado, I will turn the time over to our speaker. Let us welcome Mr. Elias Mokrowi. Over to you, Mr. Elias.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us. Thanks a lot, Farida, for the usual nice introduction. And thank you, Nurul, for your help, your technical help on this. Without both of you, these webinars wouldn't be possible. Thanks also for all the participants, everyone who comes to attend our webinars, our live webinars. We are recording the webinar, and we will be putting the videos on the webinar website for those who did not manage to attend. So far we have good support. We have a lot of people attending. And I hope that this series will not stop at number 7. We will continue with this. After the basic use of QGIS, we will try to, or we will do other webinars which are more technical. Or if you have any ideas or any topics that you would like to share with us, you just email to us at sales@gis.fm, or you can just put in the chat box. I mean, perhaps you want to solve something, you have some issues, you want to share your expertise as well. You're welcome to be with us, right? We do this webinars every 2 weeks. For some reasons, I couldn't make it 2 weeks ago, so that's why we have these 2 webinars back to back. And we will be stopping for a short period of time to think of new things and to renew this sets of webinars again. We may redo some, or we may do new as well. But today is something very exciting that we are going to teach or to show. As I said, I always said this is part of our QGIS training that we provide. So more details are, of course, available in the QGIS training. Yeah, speaking of which, we will be conducting a session very soon. We will update you on my GIS website, or for those who are already registered with us on the mailing list. We'll definitely let you know when is our next training session. So I will not spend too much time talking about the plans, but for today's topic, the print layout. So when we have, well, let's take a look at what's on the menu today. So we always say tell people what is GIS. We explain what is GIS. And then we are going to explain how to print a map, how to add items to the print layout, how to create a sample print layout, creating an atlas. Atlas is something very interesting. I like this option. And then we will show you, sorry, how to export a map that we have, and we see what are the several formats available. This session has only a few slides, but we are going to do a lot of hands-on. I've already created a map. I will show you. We're going to see how we can update, how we can make a map look nicer. But let's just start and see how this thing goes here. So what is GIS? I will always start with this slide. GIS is looking for what, where. What is the information? Where is the geospatial component, the location? Where is the information we are looking for? So we have been basing more on the where portion of the GIS. So where is the location of the data? But after preparing the maps, we have shown you how to create layers, or how to load layers, how to update some of the data. We have shown you also how to more or less create a map with a symbology. Now we are going to show you how you can export that map. How you can create a nice map. Okay. So how can we print a map or create a print layout? In QGIS, you click on project, and then you have new. You click on new print layout. From there, a dialog box will open. You just give it a name, any name you want, and then you just the print layout will be created. That will be an empty map. You can set up the properties. You can set up the size of the map. Is it on A4 paper? Is it on A3 paper? The size. Yeah. Once we have created a new map, we can add items. So the items, you can add item by clicking on add item, and then you choose the item that you want. On the left-hand side, you have a bar, okay, a toolbar that has exactly the same items that you can add in. We are going to look into this in more details. So I have a sample print layout. So let's say if we have this map, how can we go from here to something like this? So this is very basic. I'm going to show you, like, for example, here I put a scale, how to create the scale, how to put a scale bar, a legend, and the north arrow. Plus, here I've added a grid as well. We are going to see how you can do all this in on the print layout. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to adjust all these details. Just now you can see, for example, the scale. This was the scale. How to change it to this. And we're going to see other things like, for example, for instance, here I have some buildings without labels. How can we remove these buildings? Okay, how can we edit the legend? How can you put your own logo if you want to? And how to change the north arrow to a different north arrow, the one that you always use. Okay, before getting into that, let's go to our map. I open QGIS. There you go. So in QGIS, what I have is I have these buildings here. Okay. So I have the legend. What do I have here in the table of contents? I have some additional maps that I used before. These are from Google Maps. This is from Here Traffic. Okay. This shows the real-time traffic. So I have my data. I have a georeferenced image, the one that we created last week, or we added last week. Okay. And this is the OpenStreetMap, the one that I use. It's free, so I always have it on my QGIS. All right. So I'm going to remove this. I don't need the image. So what I need is this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to label my buildings. I have already set the labels. Okay. These are the labels. We're going to put a scale of 2,500. Sorry about that. Okay, then what we do is we just click on project and then new print layout. So I'll just call it QGIS 00723. Let's see if this works with a slash. Click OK. Yes, it works. So this is my print layout. So what I have here is really something empty. I don't have anything. Okay. Click on layout. I have a layout manager. The layout manager shows me the existing layouts that I have. This is the previous one. I can edit, I can show, meaning to open, I can duplicate, I can remove, I can rename any layout. Okay, so just close. Let me go back to the layout I've created. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a map. Oh, sorry, here on the right-hand side, you have the size. So you can choose the 3 size or any custom size you want. I'll just keep it to A4 size. Then you can change the orientation, portrait, or landscape. And of course, the background of your map. If I want to use a light green, for example, or anything I want. Okay. So, as explained earlier, you can add the items from the menu or from the tools toolbar here. Just going to click on Add Map, and then I just draw a box, and this is my map. So you can see that the map has been updated automatically. Now, if I use the third or second, the middle button, the wheel on the mouse, so I can zoom inside the page. Okay, this is zooming inside the page. But if I want to zoom inside the map itself, what I do is I will just click on Move Item Content, and I will be able to move the map. If I want to readjust it, I can just zoom in or zoom out if I want to. Just a moment. Just use the button, the scroll button, to zoom in or zoom out. Okay. All right, so this is one way to adjust the content of the map. What I'll do is now I can move the map, as I said earlier. I can move it. But if I want to lock it, I can do that by selecting the map, and then I will lock the location of the map. And now you can see that I can't move the map. It stays where it is. So I unlock here. Okay. Then other things I can do is I can create, well, I'm going to add a north arrow. I just click here, add a north arrow, and I draw a box. So this is the north arrow that I have, but from the legend here, you can add, or you can change your north arrow if you want to, or you can, this is an SVG format. Or you can use a raster if you wish to, if you have different arrow, raster arrows. Okay. I prefer to use the SVG, so I can choose the one I like. I'm going to stick to this one. When I select it, I put the north arrow here. Okay. Now let's add a legend. To add the legend, I just click on Add Legend. Okay, but as you can see, my legend is a little bit crowded, and I want to remove whatever I don't need. So to do that, here you can see that you have auto update, meaning that whenever I add something on my map, on the table of contents here, or the layers, whatever I add here, it will be, it will be reflected here. Just give you an example. Like this building, I'm going to right click, and then you have duplicate or copy layer by paste layer. Okay. So here I have another building. I'll just change the color. Symbology, fill. Change the color to a light yellow or ochre. Yeah, the yellow green light. Okay. And of course, I remove the labels. I don't need too many labels. If I go back now to the print layout, you can see that it has been added automatically. Well, since I don't need this layer, I'm going to remove it. All right, so what I will do is I'm going to remove whatever I don't need just to make it tidy. So what I have to do is I uncheck the auto update, and I can just click on the minus button to remove. So I remove Google Maps, I remove here traffic, I will remove the georeferenced image and the OpenStreet. Okay. All right. So what I can do now is I can add a title. I call it map legend. I call it map legend, right? And then if I'm happy with this, what I can do is I can add a frame. Okay. Other things I can do is I can add a title to my map. So the title to the map is going to be QGIS 007 webinar sample print layout. So I've done that. I'm happy with it. If I want to change the font, I'm going to change the font. Instead of 10, I will put 16. Okay. Right. I'm going to use Arial. Okay. Center is okay. Or left is fine. Of course, you can change a lot of things, a lot of properties for the font if you wish to. Okay, but we're not going to do that. You can add a shadow, right? I'll just do that for now. So what else is missing? I'm going to add, let's see, we need to add a scale bar. I'm going to add a scale bar here. Okay, so you have different options for the scale bar. You can make it fixed, 50 units. In our case, just leave it meters. I can add more segments. Let's say on the right, I'm going to put 4. Then I'll change the location here. Okay. We will add, so we have a scale bar. This, I'm going to add text, perhaps. I'm going to put text here, some text here to put the scale. So what I do is I'm going to add a scale text. Okay. And in here you have an option, which is dynamic text. Dynamic text, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something from the map properties. So this is map 1, and I'm going to use the scale. But if I look at the scale here, so this is like, okay, I'm going to remove this. I don't need this. I just type scale. Okay, but something is odd. First, the scale is not nice. 2,700 is not a nice scale. I'm going to change the scale to something more meaningful or easier to use. So I go back to, I will go back. I prefer to use from QGIS itself. Okay, so this is 1,500 because I've moved the map. So just refresh. Okay. And so the scale will be 2,500. All right. And I will refresh here. I don't really have the right text. So what I will do is, since I'm done with that, I select my scale and just a moment. I convert this to static text. So this is what I have. I just put here 2,500, just as a reference. Okay, I can put .00 if I want to, but usually we don't put that in scale. So I'll just leave it like that. I'm going to change the font to something else. Hang on. The font I'm going to use Arial. Arial. Okay, I'm going to use 12 the size and bold. Regular, I use bold. Okay. So you can see the changes here. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a bit smaller. I'm going to add a logo. To do that, I'm going to add an image, add a picture. I just choose here. And then instead of SVG, you can use the SVG if you want to, but I'm going to add a raster image. And I will use our company logo, so you can add your organization logo. There you go. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Of course, this is just for demo purposes, but of course, you can do much better for maps or templates that you will create and use all the time. One thing I'm going to add now for this map, I'm going to add two things. Number one is I'm going to add a frame. Okay, I like it better with a frame. And then I'm going to add a grid. So to add a grid, you need to create the grid first. So I click on class, all right. And then once I have the grid, I click on modify. Okay, so you have different grid types. Let's say I'll just leave it solid first, and then we change it later on. So the interval, I'm going to put 25 for X, then 25 for Y, and then the grid is not showing because line type. Okay. Why is it not showing the grid? Because that is weird. I go back to the properties here. I click on grid 1, modify grid, solid using This one has to be centimeters, for example. And then I don't need an offset, blend mode, I don't need that. Okay, I have no idea why it's not showing the grid. Okay, I will show that on the different map, the one that I prepared earlier. Okay, so once you have this, you have your map ready. What you can do is you can add another map if you want to. I'm going to add another map to add a reference map. Okay. But you can see that this is crowded because I have too many labels. But anyway, I'll just zoom in. I'll zoom out, sorry. To do that, I'll just click on Move Item Content. Okay. And from here, what I can do is use overviews. I add the overview, and then map frame, map one, and this shows the location of this map, an overview of the map. Right? So what I will do is I'm going to lock this, going to lock this map so I don't need to move it. Okay. Let me just try again this because the grid is not showing, and I'm going to delete the grid. I'm going to redo the grid, modify, solid, map units. I'm going to use centimeters. Here, put 25. Not really sure why we have 50. Okay, never mind. I will just show the other map. So anyway, once I'm done with this, I just if I'm happy with this map, I will just click on Save. Now, once I've done this, once I'm happy with this, then I'm ready to print this map. I go to I just have to click on Print. So it will show me which printer I want to use, and then I just print using the printer. Other things that you can do is you can export as an SVG, or you can export as a PDF. So I will just save my map here, new folder, call it print layouts. Okay. Image compression, JPEG, always export as vector. No, I just keep it as it is. Click on Save. I can create a geospatial PDF if I want to. I will perhaps do that after this. Okay. I'm going to export again to geospatial PDF. There you go. I keep these. Okay, I'm not going to use these. Okay. Need to remove all these. Just keep the rasters. Click on save. All right, let's take a look and see how this looks like. Okay, print layouts. So this is my map in PDF. Let's take a look at the other one, which is a geo PDF. So here, what you can do is, or you can add layers. You can remove the layers if you want to. Okay. But OpenStreet works also here, so that's great, even better. So this is a PDF file where you can use the layers, or you can on and off. This is very useful if you want to share your maps with how do you call with the manager who wants to take a look at the data and so on. So it's easier for them to, they don't have to use QGIS. They just have to use this, all right? So if I want to zoom in, so these are the layers, and this is just a different way to to show the layers. Okay. Now we are going to talk about something else. We're going to take this a bit further. We are going to learn what is an atlas, how you can create an atlas. What is an atlas? So an atlas is it is used to automate map creation with print layouts. So if your organization publishes printed or online maps, so if you have online maps that you recreate all the time based on certain criteria, or if you often would need to create many maps with the same templates. Okay. So how do you create an atlas? So what I'll do is I will just click on Atlas and select Generate Atlas. Then ask me which field or which layer I want to base the atlas on. I'm going to use buildings. Oh, but just a moment. As you can see here, all these, some of the buildings, they don't have names. I don't want to use them. So I'm going to create a filter on QGIS. I use the buildings layer. I go to properties. Okay. And then I will use, sorry. Oh, that would be, sorry, something else. Right click. I need to filter my data. Source, and then query builder. And then I am going to look for the names. I click on sample. You see these null values, I don't need them. If I go back to the table, you can see that many buildings don't have names to them, or shops of inside the buildings. So I'm going to remove all these. To do so, I go back to buildings, properties, source, and then I go click on query builder. Name. So I choose name. I think it should be is not null, if not mistaken, something like this. Test. Okay. So these are the 14 rows which have names inside. When I click OK, then click OK again. If you look here, the buildings that don't have any names, any labels, have disappeared. All right? So I put back the same scale. Right? I go back to the print layout. And I will close this. I don't need these messages. And then I click on the refresh view. And you can see that the buildings without labels have been removed. All right. So now what I want to do is, let's say if you are an organization that need to give details of a certain building, okay, you need to print a map of certain buildings. So what you can do is you generate an atlas, then you say that will be based on building layer, and you base the atlas on the name field. All right. So once you have done that, you click on preview atlas. All right. Oh, there's one more thing that you are supposed to do. I go back to the item property. I go back, sorry, to here we select controlled by atlas. So every time you change the value, it will show, reflect, it will zoom in to that specific feature on the map. Because this will be changing all the time, so you need to do something about it. Scale bar, so okay, fixed width, I put, instead of fixed width, fixed segment width, instead here I put 1 for each, and then I'm going to put, this is not nice, 8, I'm going to put 10, easier to calculate. So whenever I change, it will zoom differently, so the scale bar will change as well, but it's based on 10 meters width. Okay, so once you are done with this, what you can do is you can export the atlas as PDF if you want to. Atlas, click on save. I'll always export as vectors, append your information, export PDF, okay, advanced. I just click on save and see how the atlas will look like. You can see here you have 14 records. So it's generating for us a PDF with the 14 records. So this can be very useful if you want to create a template, or every time you have to generate a report, you can do that. So let's take a look at our PDF file now. Okay, so we have, you see, look here, you have 14 pages. So you can see that all the pages contain a map with that specific feature zoomed in. Okay, we call this an atlas. All right, so that will be the end of this portion, but just wanted to show you something because it didn't work for, I'm not really sure what is the reason. So I click on save, I go to layout manager, hang on, properties, I have my layouts, I go to the first layout I created earlier. Okay, here, I'm not going to use the atlas. I'm not generating the atlas, but you can see that here I managed to create a grid. I have a grid here. If I just look at the item properties, I have created the grid and I have no issues with it. Just take a look at the different what are the properties that I've set. Put 5. Okay. Let me try to put 5 and see if the value is better. All right. If not, then I'm going to remove the atlas. And for this, I will just zoom back. Okay. Right. Item properties, grid. I'll put 5. Still can't generate that map units, centimeters. Oh, there you go. So that was just the value that I put that was too big. So I will just change the, I keep the color the same, blend mode. Instead of solid, I'll just put markers if I want to, right? So markers with the coordinates if you want to. Okay. So yeah, so that's about it for today. I'm open to any questions that you have. Yeah, Farida? Farida?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Elias, for
You're
taking the
welcome.
time for sharing your professional knowledge and giving a real life example. So although our session is short, we still hope you get something from it. So before I go to the Q&A session, I may ask Mr. Elias to share our last slide for anyone to keep in touch with us after this. Let me check the chat box if we have any question from the audience. As I can see, there is no question from all of you, but I will open this session for anyone who want to talk verbally to Mr. Elias.
No.
Anyone else? If you have something to ask, to
Sharon.
clarify something. No question? Okay, as you can see on the slide, this is our website address and also our email. If anything later on, if you want to get more further clarification on the related topic or whatever related to the GIS, you can contact us by drop an email or to us lah. So Mr. Lev, there is no question as of now from the audience. Mr. Lev, mute.
Yeah, well, I mean, if people have any questions, they can just email to us. We'll be happy to assist them. Yeah, so Farida, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I just would like to let everybody of you, if you looking for GIS training or FME training, you can contact me as well. For the training, we will give you the best package for the training.
All right. Do you want to take a selfie picture?
Sorry, before we end, I may ask for the group Wi-Fi so that I can post it on our MyGIS and also our website. Hope you don't mind to turn on your camera for a while. Hi, Hafiza. Hi, Mr. Ian, I think. Hi, Mr. Rizal from Plan Malaysia. Hi, Encik Ali.
Cik Ali pun ada.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Hi, Mr. Muhammad Zuhair. Sorry, if I mispronounce. Where are you, Mr. Muhammad Zuhair? May I know? Hi, Mr. Mio. Anyone else want to turn on the camera? So I give 10 seconds. After that, we will take a selfie.
Cik Muhammad Ali, we cannot see you very well. Boleh adjust kamera sikit?
Oh, yes.
I have to stand up. If not, you cannot see me.
Okay. Macam ini, okay, cantik. Alright. Thank you, everyone. So, okay, we can take the, yeah, okay, hang on. All right. Thank you. Ada lagi?
Okay, ada lagi? Anyone else? Go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Another one, maybe freestyle.
Please.
1, 2, 3.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. See you next
That's
webinar.
all. Yeah,
Thanks.
that's all we have
Bye.
got you here for today. I'll see you in our next webinar. Maybe in 2 weeks times. We will announce and advertise to everyone.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you, everyone.